Hello and welcome to London Local History. This is my attempt at sharing some historical information about areas of London that I know well, and to include some of my family recollections of areas that have changed a lot but still retain memories that go back at least 100 years or more. My great-grandparents moved into North London just before the First World War. The street layout remained the same from the 1850s until the 1960s. In the mid-60s, my dad and his family moved out when the local council built the current blocks of flats. It caught my imagination that from the moment the area was first built to the time my father left the area at the start of the swinging 60s, it had remained almost exactly the same. That's something I find interesting. Here we are, this morning of the middle of October, and everyone's on their way to work. This is NW1, so northwest London. That's over there is the Fiddler's Elbow. That's one of the oldest buildings in this area. There's a block of flats there. There used to be a factory there, and over here this is the oldest building. I think this is an old villa from the early 19th century. So if you walk down that way, that's Prince of Wales Road, goes to Kentish town. This way, that goes down to where the bus is. That goes down to Camden, and this way goes up to Chalk Farm. And if we go around the corner there, that takes you up to Hampstead Heath. So that's Malden Road. And this is Malden Crescent here, and 2024 today, but we're going to be looking at the history of the area. Malden Crescent, this is where my granddad and my dad's family, they all lived in this area. When I say my granddad, I actually think my dad's granddad, my great-granddad I should say. He moved into the area with his wife when they got married, I think probably about 1910. And my grandmother was born in a house just around the corner on Malden Crescent over there. And there used to be an island where that where the white villa is there. That used to be an island, and there were like four houses there. Three of them got blown up in the war, and this is the remaining one. So it's like grade 1 listed. But this used to be an island in the middle. So you'd have there was 4 of these houses here, and it sort of comes round this way, and then on the other side of the road you had the big factory, and I think my dad's, and then there was a row of terrace houses down that way, so I think my dad's is probably just behind the bus. I think that's where, and there was like an entrance to the factory here, and as I said, this was one of the detached, I think there were semi-detached houses actually. There was like 3 here, and there was like an island that led to there, and then there was a road that would then sort of connect up here, and there was the terrace houses here. So, as I said, this is Malden Crescent. We're going to have a look at the history of this area. Very lucky to come down on a nice morning. That's the block of flats that was built in late 1960s, I think, 67 or to check. But during the COVID, I was volunteering, delivering food, and actually went in there to deliver some food. So it's a lot of old people who live there. One of the caretakers was telling me about how a lot of them, they've got, they don't have a lot of money, and they don't even know how to use a mobile phone. So even though we're right in North London, there's a lot of people who are very vulnerable and just need a lot of support. So hidden away in the tower blocks. But it's Prince of Wales Road. The pub over there, that was built in the early 1850s, I think, 1852, and they built it before most of the other buildings were done. So it was like they sort of getting ahead of the game, basically, and getting set up before all the residences around here were built. So pretty much the buildings next to it, they're like 1930s buildings, but pretty much most of the terraced housing started in the 1850s, 1860s, up until the turn of the century when they finished building the whole area. So very interesting. So we're going to have a look at this area on a map and some old photos as well. Rowney's factory produced watercolours, oil paints and pencils. It was the factory on the Malden Crescent site from the 1880s until it decided to move to a bigger site in Berkshire in the 1960s. It was then pulled down to make way for the block of flats. The big local landlords, like Lord Southampton, were looking at transforming the local fields in this area into villa residences in the 1830s. So these were the 4 semi-detached villas were built on this site. But I think the well-to-do decided to go to St John's instead, and so the area around Malden Crescent in northwest London was built mainly from the 1850s onwards at rapid speed. So the whole of North London started getting built on very quickly. I'll show you the original layout in one of the marvellous Britain from above aerial photos, and of course all the links have been shared below this video. My dad told me that both my grandparents worked at Rowney's factory for a while after the war. I'm guessing like late 40s, early 1950s. My nan worked in the offices and my granddad in the kilns, and it sounded like they're happy there, and it's nice to hear that. You don't always think of factories in that way, so that's nice to hear. The main local streets were completed back in the 1840s and early 1850s, and the local train lines by the 1860s. For example, Kentish Town, what's now Kentish Town West, Gospel Oak, Hampstead Heath. So there was a very quick expansion in population. So from the middle of the 19th century, this area was full of shops, factories, including a lot of piano factories in the area, and a lot of housing. It quickly became a very industrious area in fast expanding North London.